Hi everyone, welcome to today's speed build. So today I'm building a townhome in Copperdale, which is the town that comes with, or the world that comes with the high school years expansion pack. I really like this world and I never really use it. I never really build in it except for right after when it first came out. But with the new pack dropping in I think about a month and the trailers and stuff having just dropped, I was just really excited and I really wanted to try to build something that might be able to be a rental property once that comes out. I don't know how exactly those are going to work, so I don't know if this will be able to be modified into one, but we'll see. I had some trouble with the platforms, but I did use a platform to make that entryway look a little bit more elevated and like different from the rest of it. I'd built a pretty square thing at first, and then I added this little bump out, and that ends up causing me some problems with trying to furnish and do the layouts, but it's okay. These roofs look insane. Like watching it back now as I am building them, they look insane. I promise they look better at the end. It was kind of tough to roof. This came from an inspiration picture from Pinterest, I believe, that I pulled, and the house ends up not really looking anything like that. It was just kind of the coloring of the exterior and the general roof shape in the picture. There's windows and stuff where these roofs are as well, like coming out of the roofs, but that's just too much of a pain for me to even attempt to do in The Sims anymore. I've tried it so many times and I can just never get it to look the way that I want it to look. So I decided to just do those little pieces with a flat roof. You can't get to the roof, which I kind of wish that you could, but I did not make it possible for you to get to the roof. So it just looks pretty. Yeah, see, the roofs look a lot better now. I do end up changing the fence on the top to make it look more in line with everything else. So here is where I start trying to do the entryway, and this is where those platforms that I mentioned gave me a huge problem, because that means there has to be stairs going into this first floor apartment, which is really not that big of a deal, except I also have to have a staircase going up to the second and third floor and a space for mailboxes, and I had wanted to put in like a little laundry room or something, but I couldn't figure out how to add a basement. I did try, no layout that I could figure out worked for it, so I just ended up not doing it. You have to take your laundry to a laundromat. I don't usually play The Sims with laundry anyway, but I feel like it's a nice touch in an apartment complex. But I mean, I guess this isn't really an apartment complex, it's a townhome. It is 3 units. Each floor is its own separate unit, is how I ended up splitting that up. That is not how the staircases to the upper floors end up, and this is not the final layout for the first floor, nor is this the final layout for the second floor. The second floor was such a headache to do a layout for. I do not show you guys most of the furnishing for the first floor. It's pretty basic, and I'm going to do a tour at the end, so you'll see the end result. It was also, I had like 4 hours total of footage, so that's a long video. This already by itself, I believe, is almost 20 minutes before the tour, so it was just really unnecessary. The second floor, however, as you can see, is already causing me problems, but that's partially because of the staircase. Now, staircases always bother me. I don't like them. I fight with them every time I use them. I always end up using them in this shape. Always. Having a single staircase never works for me. I don't know why. It just never looks as good for me. So this is the final layout for the staircases. I do lose those 2 squares behind that one on the second floor, but the second floor apartment is still pretty big, and I do end up fitting 2 bedrooms into it. Tiny bedrooms, but imagining that this isn't in a city, that's probably pretty realistic. And the top floor ends up being a studio, and you can like barely fit what you need in there. The first floor is absolutely the nicest, and I'll mention this again on the tour, I'm sure. I did have like a type of sim in mind for each apartment, so you'll see that when I go through the tour and show you all of the decorating. As far as packs used, by the way, if you want to place this unfurnished, it will have high school years, base game, and romantic garden. The romantic garden stuff is only those two big front windows. So if you want to find different windows, there were base game windows that I originally had in there. I think they were base game. I just didn't love the way that they looked, so I switched them for those romantic garden ones that are stone. I felt like they looked a little better, fit the vibe a little more. But if you place this unfurnished, and you have those 3 packs, you will be all set, because furnishing is half the fun for me personally, which is part of why I don't actually show it in this, because I think you guys should, if you decide to download this, I think it'd be fun for you to decide how to furnish it on your own, and maybe even change the layout if you can. This is the second floor layout that I was saying was such a nightmare. I put in the same lights everywhere, and now I'm putting in the same wallpaper everywhere, and then the same flooring everywhere. In my experience, that is what happens unless an apartment building is updated. Everything is the same throughout, and now I'm fixing the fence on the top to match, and it looks so much better after I fix the roof glitch, which roofs in The Sims 4, man, they are so finicky, and I get this weird sense of accomplishment when I make one look good, because you can see it's clipping again above that window, so I had to just like change the trim. But like I said, same flooring everywhere. This is the kitchen for the first floor, just like briefly. I think that's the only part of the first floor I show you, and then I just move on to columns, which I had forgotten the first time around. I think they really add a lot of character and make the house look a little more dated, which is the goal. It's supposed to look like it's an older house. I didn't add any like stains or cobwebs or anything. That's me fixing the windows. But I would say there's definitely cobwebs in this place, because it's definitely a very old building. Finishing the entryway up, I put in a couple of doormats. Oh, I guess I'm not finishing it right now. I guess that's later. I'm back to fighting the second floor layout. The first part of the layout that I figured out was this bathroom. It just didn't really make sense for it to go anywhere else. So then I was like, I have this weird amount of space. Let me try to add a second bedroom. And that is where my problems began, folks. Don't be an overachiever and a perfectionist at the same time. It is a recipe for disaster, and it will make you fight with The Sims for an hour, which is what I did to get a good layout. You're going to see me furnish a lot of this because I kept going back and forth on those walls, the wall that I just deleted and made diagonal. And it was just easier to have you watch me furnish a lot of this and play with it a bunch to really show you the process of it. Whereas like downstairs on the first floor, I didn't change the layout very much. I just made the bathroom a little bit smaller while I was furnishing, which is typical. I often end up changing things while I'm furnishing just because I always forget how big beds are and like how little space a bathroom really needs in The Sims, because things can be practically on top of each other. For this apartment, I was picturing a bunch of university kids. So if you don't have university, you're still going to be able to place this just without a couple of the decor items. All of the main stuff is base game or high school years, so don't worry about it. I just like 3 bunk beds and sharing a bedroom that screams college to me, and I feel like I know a decent amount of people who lived in dorms like this for college, like off-campus apartments that were really old houses that, you could get for pretty cheap that were in the city, had access to the city. So that's kind of the vibe that I was going for here. Realistically, it would probably have had a fireplace, like a bricked up fireplace, probably not a usable one. And there is a chimney, so we're just going to pretend that they covered the fireplaces or knocked them down or something, but kept the chimney on the top of the building because I liked the way that the chimney looked and I kept it. I'm not getting rid of it. You can see that I'm putting a lot more well, I guess you didn't see the first floor, but I'm putting in a lot more rundown stuff, and I'm figuring out the walls again for that bedroom. I put in a lot more rundown stuff in this apartment because of my story in my head where they are broke college kids. And like in my brain, they have a bunch of hand-me-downs and like a couple of things that maybe they bought, like maybe they all chipped in for. You'll see they have a nicer TV than what ends up in the third floor apartment. I don't remember what's in the first floor apartment, because in theory, 3 people splitting a TV, you can get a nicer TV, right? So yeah, but I don't even have room for a living room right now, so you're not gonna see that for a little bit. This room, I swear, I'm gonna play with it so many times, and I have to go back in and put the wallpaper in so many times, and I didn't want to use the eyedropper tool because I had on filters for only certain packs, and sometimes when I use the eyedropper tool, it takes away my filters, and I really didn't want to deal with that this time, so I had to keep going back into the wallpaper. Also, in this first bedroom, I feel bad for whichever one of them gets the smaller dresser, but it is what it is, and they share that giant mirror, which is nice. I did figure out that those desks that are under those beds match, which made me indescribably happy. I love it when wood swatches actually match in The Sims 4. It's like 1 in a million. The ones in the second bedroom don't match quite as well, but they still match enough, and it's dark in there. I do remember to put a light in eventually. I don't think I recorded it though, because I'm pretty sure I remembered the light, because I went in to do a tour of it and it was really dark and I was really confused. But yeah, this is still not the final layout, you guys. It looks good. It looks like it would be done, right? Like there's room for some stuff there, right? No, I keep changing it. I swear that room just made me so mad. It's not even done. The floor plan's not done. But in order to figure out what I wanted for the floor plan, I had to start putting some stuff in for a living room. I really liked that couch. I think it's a high school years couch. It's cute. It has a blanket and some pillows, which I think is just, it makes it look so much more lived in. There's not very much space, clearly, to like walk around in here. I did play test the third floor after I was done. I did not play test the second floor. I'm sorry. It's probably fine though. Yeah, I used these like really old grimy looking cabinets, and I kind of love doing that. I love making a house or an apartment in this case look lived in The Sims, look a little old, look a little crusty. Yeah, so I completely changed the living room there, you see, because I decided last minute, I wanted a dining room. I wanted these 3 Sims to eat together. How cute is that? Besties who eat together and live together. But no, where am I gonna put a dining room table? Even just a little teeny tiny one with 3 chairs. Just enough chairs for all of the Sims. Can you see why this room made me angry? This is the final layout though. I ended up just making it a little bit smaller, like the bedroom's a little bit smaller and the shared space a little bit bigger. And after this, I think I just clutter it up. I don't know that I show that. I added 3 trash cans, 1 for each apartment, and then 3 mailboxes, which did have to come from Snowy Escape because we don't have any others. So that is the entryway, and the exterior mostly finished. I did add some grills and a table into the exterior, but again, I don't think I recorded it because I don't think I really thought about it. The 3rd floor also gave me some issues. All I needed to have was a bathroom, and I tried it in a couple different places before I settled on this. And this is the final layout for the 3rd floor. It gave kind of like some separation, which I liked a lot. And then I made kind of like a galley kitchen type of thing. I really, really had to scoot these counters into that fridge. I hope it works. I didn't actually make sure that it works, but I'm sure it does. You probably can't use the counters, but that's okay. I had enough counter space in the rest of the kitchen. So yeah, alright, I think that is just about it for the building. So I'm gonna hop in and give you a live tour in just a second. The aesthetic of this top floor completely changes, so don't be too thrown off by that. But yep. Alright, let's go. Alright, so here is the tour. I am not actually recording this voiceover live, even though I did record one because it was too rambly and it went on for too long, and this video was going to be 40 minutes. Now it's going to be 30. So here's the exterior. I just pointed out while I was out here that I got this barrel from Live Edit to match the one that is in front of the house. So that was on the lot when I started building, right? Because that's outside of the lot limits. I have the Better Build By mod installed, and it is a lifesaver. I love it so much, and it really helped find this because you can just you can look just at Live Edit objects, and I had it filtered by packs, so it made it super easy to find it. And then it was just base game flowers on top, and then I think I said I changed the roof. So let's head on into the house. The first area is just like a little bit of an entryway. Everybody would have access to it. The front doors would not be locked so that the mailman could get in. These mailboxes are Snowy Escape. So if you want to download this and you don't have Snowy Escape, you'll have to find an alternative for mailboxes. They were just the only ones that looked like apartment mailboxes to me, so that's what I used. And then going into the first floor lobby, I left these pretty empty. I don't know what the weird shadow on the ceiling is. And then you can see like other businesses. So let's go into the first floor. You have a little bit of an entryway because I had to put stairs in here since the entryway is on a platform. I did go with kind of an orangey theme in here, and it looks a little bit newer as far as like the furniture, and it looks a little bit newer than other apartments are gonna look in this building. And I put a little divider up for division between the dining room, which has cute little artwork and some little flowers, and the living room. And then I was able to make like a tiny little bar space for in the kitchen. It'll only fit 2, obviously, but I used the country kitchen kit counters, and then I think the vault modular cabinets or something like that. I forget what they're called. I think they're base game. But I did use different cabinets than counters because I hate the openness of the country kitchen kit counters or cabinets. They all look the same, and I don't like that, all of the same clutter and stuff. It's just not cool. I hate it. Every single apartment in this building, and I don't know why I did this, has a little snack box. This one is on the bookshelf. And she has they have a nicer TV. In my head, it's going to be a female sim, but you can do whatever my sim that would live here would be somebody whose parents are paying for their housing, and they have like a little bit more money because there's a lot of newer stuff in here. The apartment itself is a little bit cleaner because it's easier to keep an apartment clean when it's just you, and in my head this is just one person. They have, the basics in that bathroom. I pushed it back a tile while I was furnishing. I don't think I showed that. And then again with the orange in here, we have this really cool bed frame. I love these bed frames from high school years so much. I cannot get over them. And the swatches are really cute as well. And then with just like all the pillows at the top, I love them so much. And then I put posters above the bed because it is college and nothing is permanent. And then I was just talking about this this wardrobe. You're gonna see it a few times. Screams IKEA to me, which is definitely something that I think somebody in college would go for. And then there's just some clutter and a little laptop on the desk. This is the only one that I put a laptop in because I forgot that laptops are portable, and if this is university housing, they would just bring their own. And then this person in the sim really likes music, so they have all of that stuff up there, the CDs, the vinyls, and just some Polaroids and photography. All of those were the same. They were the same wall decor, but in different swatches, and I think that's really, really cool to have that. This is the second floor landing, very small. They all are, I guess. And there's that view from the landing, and then this is inside. So like I said, this is all university students to me. This one has 3 different beds in it, so I put a little cork board so that they can communicate with each other. That bookshelf and the snack box on it look like it would be from, somebody's parents' house or something that their parents didn't want anymore, so they took it with them to college. The kitchen looks a little bit more used and outdated. The one downstairs could have been updated recently. And yet they have nice spices and the little baking thing that came with that new kitchen kit. So in theory, somebody here likes to bake. They have a bunch of clutter lying around. They have some board games on the floor, some vinyls, even though we have no record player. Actually, I think one of the new kits had a record player, but I don't have it. I love this little ketchup, mustard, condiment container. I feel like they would have stolen that from a restaurant or something, which is totally something that university students do. Once again, the board games. Your basic couch. I imagine they would have gotten the couch and the TV specifically for this apartment because they are the only 2 things that look new in here. And then this is that tiny bedroom that gave me a headache. I really actually ended up liking it, even though it is super, super small. But this desk's view is so nice. You can see the gazebo from outside. Meanwhile, from the bed, you can't see much and nobody can really see in. So I thought that was nice. And then I didn't put any clutter on the desk, but I put in that IKEA wardrobe and a little thing of laundry again. And then this is the bathroom. It's pretty basic. I made it a little bit messier because when 3 people share one bathroom, it's gonna get messy, and it's hard to remember that it's your mess and you have to clean it and take responsibility for that. Speaking from experience, it's a lot easier to be like, oh well, somebody else lives here, they should do it. So shared spaces tend to get messier. And then I didn't record myself cluttering this, and I kind of wish I had, because that toothpaste and those toothbrushes in the holder can't usually look like that. You have to put them on the sink and then use Alt to place them where you want them while the sink is pulled away, and then move it back. It takes a lot of trial and error, but I can totally go through how I clutter stuff at some point if y'all want to see it, because I love it. So I'm okay with that. But if any of you need tips or want tips or whatever, I imagine this person is a little bit more studious. They seem like they are on the go all the time because they have the dirty mugs and a little bit of a mess of books, and those headphones, I'm guessing, were probably soundproof. This person cares a little bit more about what they look like, and probably does their homework somewhere else instead of in their room because there's not much space for it. And now we're gonna go upstairs. They have a nice little landing. You could like maybe fit a plant out here, but it is kind of just cute. And then I used this dresser instead of an accent table out here, with a cute little rug because functionally for the Sims it just makes more sense. And then I put some stuff that if we weren't a Sim would make sense on an entryway table, like snacks, coins, perfume, a mirror right next to it so you can like see what you look like on your way out. In my head, this Sim hasn't fully unpacked, which is why there's all those frames and canvases and such around the mirror. The view was kind of acting up in here, so I'm sorry if the video looks a little wonky. They're a lavender Sim. They like lavender and black. I didn't realize that the toothbrush had like a monster on it, but it does. I wanted to use this divider as an actual divider, but it doesn't give very much privacy, so I just used it as like a little accent. In my head, it's like pictures of them and their friends, pictures that they've taken on walks, that kind of thing. And I didn't really have anything else to fill up that space, so without blocking it for like a Sim to walk through, because walking through just one tile can be a little bit difficult for a Sim sometimes. Like I said, the aesthetic up here completely changed. I made it super dark because the Sim that lives up here in my head is a witchy Sim. And while realistically you would not be able to change counters and cabinets just because you want them darker, you get what you get in an apartment complex or an apartment building of any kind. But this is The Sims, and we can do whatever we want. So I changed the aesthetic to fit a little bit more, kept older looking, not necessarily older looking, but not super nice looking stove and fridge, even though all of the other stuff, like all of the counters, are from the new pack. I put this little love seat in with a divider behind it to separate the bedroom and like the living room area. It is again that lavender and black theme. It's just a love seat because there's only one Sim who lives here. And there's not much like clutter or anything because again in my head the Sim has just moved in. So that's also why all that's on the wall is a few vinyls. And there's those boxes, there's books just like piled on the TV stand. They have a small TV because again it's just one Sim, so that felt more realistic, I guess. And then I put the little set of plastic drawers in the bookshelf because I felt like it, I guess. This Sim has a couple mugs just like hanging out, and the most amazing view. Like, look at that view. I want to live there. Are you kidding? Kept with the lavender and black again, but a white rug. I really love that rug. I think it's from the high school years pack. It is so cute. I used it on the first floor as well, just sized up there. And then this bed was pretty much the inspiration for the aesthetic of this apartment specifically. Just with the black and lavender. Again, I really like the high school years beds. I think they're really fun. I think young adults would also really like them, which is who I would imagine would be living here because teens can't live on their own. And then I really liked that tapestry of the llama with like the moon phases and stuff. It was weird and I loved it. But now we're going outside. So that is the Sim that I used to play test. I'm sorry, that just spun around so fast. That was a little bit scary. Anyway, I put this on a foundation and realized while I was doing this tour that I probably didn't actually need to because it's not like I put it on a high foundation or had a porch or anything. I was looking at the line for where the property comes. You can kind of see it in the wood there. I did make sure I used the same wood though. And you can see the greenery here is exactly the same. This is what made me realize I didn't really need a foundation. It's red and it doesn't come in other colors and it looks stupid next to the foundation. So if you are interested in this house, feel free to change that. Make it not on a foundation. I won't be offended. And then in the back here, I put out some grills and a table and 3 trash cans. The table only has 4 chairs, and like it's technically open to the public. It's not really theirs, but the space is theirs. So I thought it was a nice touch. A lot of places like this would probably have that. And then those 3 trash cans are like one for each apartment, is how I was thinking about that. I was saying here that if I had the peeping toms, you know, I think it's a mod that has the peeping toms, I would have a field day, because I forgot curtains. I forgot about curtains completely. Anyway, there's just more greenery there, and then I pointed out the gazebo, like that park isn't within walking distance. I think it's awesome. Again, this was in Copperdale. It is in that like main, like center of town type area. So you have to have high school years to do that. And then it uses high school years, Snowy Escape, which is just for the mailboxes mostly, Discover University, which is just decor, City Living, Home Chef Hustle, Romantic Garden Stuff has those windows. And then Basement Treasures and those other 3 kits are all just decor, so you'll be totally fine if you don't have them. You just won't have some of the decor that I included, so no big deal. So yeah, that is the house. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, and let me know if you have any ideas on what I should do next or anything else that you want to see from me. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye, guys.